From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
And now, Jerry Hempfner Gates, a member of UU's Helping People, will lead us in the chalice lighting.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
What about serving our unsheltered neighbors with a healthy meal once a week with compassion and respect? Feed your soul.
Well, I think someone who's down and out on their luck maybe also thinks that nobody in the world cares about them or cares about what's going to happen to them. When they get a warm meal, it seems like they can get a bit of a heart hug and hopefully make them smile that day.
Our Friday night picnic is being able to provide for someone that is not able to do for themselves. And if I'm able to do something, I feel really good about being able to give to someone else, even if it is just a little bit. All it takes is a little bit to just give to someone. And I think how it feeds my soul is knowing that I'm in a position to be able to do something for someone else. And That I think is the most rewarding thing for me, is knowing that I'm in a position, because I remember myself being in a position and someone helping me, and now being in a space where I could also give back. So I think that's one of the most wonderful things about giving to the Friday night picnic, or donating to Guests at Your Table, or a Stone Soup, or any social justice endeavor. If we're able to do something, I think the best thing about community, or being involved in the community, is actually giving back, especially if we're able to. Why not is the question. So that's my play. Thanks.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
This is the time in our worship service for joys, sorrows, and concerns. If you're watching this on YouTube Live, please type your joys and sorrows into the text chat. First, let us take a moment to center ourselves. Our thoughts and love go to the Benjamin family as they both mourn the loss of and celebrate the life of Dolores Benjamin, who passed earlier in this week. We will also listen to the reflections of Jamie Gray regarding the murder of a transgen woman in Tampa, November 2nd. We will take a moment of silence, but in keeping with our theme of shining the light onto disappeared people and telling their histories, we commit to being anything but silent. The mystery is that we are connected, even when we feel apart. Let us rejoice in our beloved community that makes one of the many. May it be so.
Good morning. Yesterday was TDOR, Transgender Day of Remembrance. It's a sad and humble day for people on the gender spectrum. There have been 40 to 46 senseless murders and some suspicious circumstances in regard to the count of people that are transgender who have died this year. Recently, we had one that happened in Tampa. Jenny D. Leon from St. Pete was found murdered just last week. Transgender Day of Remembrance has been around for 22 years. If people were more accepting of different lifestyles and cultures, we wouldn't need a day called Transgender Day of Remembrance. So please, be aware of other lifestyles, even if you don't understand. We're just people that are just trying to live our lives openly and with beauty and color. Ask questions if you don't understand. Educate yourself. I, for one, would be very glad to answer anybody's question, because we have to be tolerant of each other no matter how we live our lives. Thank you.
Stone soup is an ancient story. Nobody knows how long it has been around in various cultures around the world, and nobody knows where it originated. Long, long ago, high up in the mountains, was a small village that was going through the worst winter they'd ever had. Snow had come earlier than ever before, and the people had not had time to put away many of their crops to eat during the winter. On the shortest day of the year, which we now call winter solstice, usually around December 21st, a group of travelers came through the village. They didn't have restaurants back then. The travelers asked the people for food, but the people said they were very sorry, but they barely had enough food for themselves and they didn't have any to spare. The travelers said they understood and asked them if someone could loan them a large pot and they could make stone soup. One of the villagers asked, "What is stone soup?" One of the men said, "If you bring me a big pot, I'll show you." So someone brought a big pot. The travelers filled it half up with snow, gathered some wood, made a fire, and put it on the fire, and started stirring it. And then, when it began to get hot, one of the travelers took a small stone out of a pouch around his neck and threw it in the water. The villagers looked around at each other like, this man is crazy. Finally, one of them said, "This is not soup. This is a stone in hot water." And the man stirring it said, "Yes, I know it is right now, but just wait." He kept stirring, and after a few minutes he said, "You know, if I had one small onion, this would smell so great." One of the men said, "I have onions. That's the only crop I have left, and all my family has been eating for quite a while, but I can spare one." He went and got it. One of the travelers took out a knife and chopped it up and threw it in the water. The man kept stirring. After a while he said, "You know, if I had one tomato, that would make it such a great color." And a woman said, "I have tomatoes. It's all my family has had to eat for months, but I can spare one." She went and got it. The traveler chopped it up and threw it in the water. Eventually, all of the travelers brought what food they had to add to the soup: a potato, a carrot, a stalk of celery, some beans and peas and peppers. When the soup was done, it smelled so good. The travelers invited the villagers to go home and get a bowl and bring it back and share the soup. which they did, and it was wonderful. The townspeople learned that when things are bad, it might be better to share what you have. So every year after that, the travelers came back to the same village on winter solstice to share soup with the villagers, and they all had a big party to celebrate their friendship.
Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. Oh, too long we have wandered, burdened and undone, but there is room at the table for everyone. This is how it all begins. Let us sing the new world in. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. No matter who you are, no matter where you're from, there is room at the table for everyone. Here and now we can be the beloved community. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room for us all, and no gift is too small. There is room at the table for everyone. There's enough if we share. Come on, pull up a chair. There is room at the table for everyone. Let our hearts not be hardened to those living on the margins. There is room at the table for everyone. This is where it all begins. This is how we gather in. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room at the table for everyone. There is room at the table for everyone.
Every Friday night, volunteers from UUSP and the larger community serve a picnic dinner to 60 to 90 unsheltered individuals. What is the truth behind each guest's journey? People experiencing homelessness are often invisible. Part of our mission is to shine light on these human beings, say their names, and tell their histories. There are many different causes: mental illness, loss of job, addiction, health issues, lack of affordable housing. Each person has their own story, their own history. We offer sustenance, respect, a smiling face, humanizing people who have been dehumanized. Listen to the testimony of some of our volunteers from the Friday Night Picnic and the Tiny Homes Project to learn about their ministry and how it feeds their souls.
Some volunteers have very personal connections with homelessness, addiction, or food insecurity. It may be from their childhood home, from a day or two in college, or a year or two when they lost their way. Their lives have been touched by family or friends whose lives are a daily struggle with addiction and homelessness. Through no fault or defect of character, their sons, husbands, wives, daughters have been swept up in the unending pain and hopelessness of addiction. These volunteers come faithfully in the hope that those they meet here may live another day, may know that they are supported in body and spirit, that they matter. That volunteer, in turn, may experience a small lifting of their own burdens of helplessness. Personally, when I give voice to our opening words, love is the spirit of this church and service its law, I am brought back to my core beliefs and sustaining hope that one day my loved one shall find peace.
UUSP feeds my soul because I really enjoy the social justice aspect of it, and I also really agreed with the 7 principles, and I like that there's more action instead of just words. People actually put the principles into action rather than just say them.
All the way down? No.
The Friday afternoons have affected my entire week. Since I got here as the minister, I have looked forward to it all week, and I find that the people I've met and the relationships I made on Fridays, those people stay with me the rest of the week. So I'm always thinking about Mary in her van. I'm always thinking about Mike, who sleeps sometimes across the street there at Mirror Lake. And yesterday I didn't make myself breakfast, so I ordered a McDonald's big breakfast, which has eggs, bacon, hash browns, and a biscuit. And I can't eat a biscuit. It's both gluten and dairy, neither of which I could eat. So I said, maybe somebody wanted over there. Sure enough, there was Mike, asleep. But as I came by, he woke up. I said, sorry to wake you. Would you like a biscuit? And he said, yeah, sure. And it feels like that's the beginning of a relationship, not where I want it to end up. But for me, these 4 months have been a beginning. Just getting to know these folks, getting to know their lives, getting to know their struggles, and letting them teach me and letting them bless me as I also bless them.
I worked on social justice issues my whole life, a whole lot of different ones. I didn't really concentrate on mostly one until 2002. My boyfriend in Atlanta died, and he had been very active with homelessness. So I decided I wanted to spend most of my time working on that to honor him. So I'm on our Helping People ministry here at the church, and I'm on the board of Celebrate Outreach, and I'm on the Affordable Housing Committee for FAST. And I'm very happy about the things we've accomplished in the last few years. All of those have accomplished a lot. And it really makes me feel like I'm helping to make the world a better place.
But you'll edit this a little bit. I find it very rare and very gratifying to be able to actually do something as opposed to being in a committee and talking about doing something. And the fact that I can help people, and that's why I'm here.
Well, every week I'm happy to see the guys. They're always waiting out there, and I drop my sandwiches and my fruit off, and when I walk in, they all say hello to me. And this week I brought roast beef. They were all very excited about roast beef. So it's a wonderful experience. I look forward to it. It's my Friday. I love it. So.
Hi, Peggy Flatley. We've all made a pledge, a covenant to take care of each other, and these are our brothers and sisters, and I'm privileged to do it.
What resonates with UU's Helping People for me is seeing the joy in others when helping those in need. Seeing compassion in action is spiritually nourishing. Because of our direct outreach and the practice and examples of others, I can learn to be my better self.
The big thing for me was just the disconnect from really anything over the past 2 years during the pandemic, and really felt the need to reach out and give something, and this really served that purpose for me. I really hope I'm making some kind of difference, because it's definitely making a difference for me.
Also, we thank our UUSP community for contributing to our ministry through Share the Plate. UU's Helping People have been able to support not only our Friday night picnic, but to financially support the work of Daystar, Family Promise, the St. Petersburg Free Clinic, and family temporary housing programs, as well as other providers. For today's announcements, after today's service, members of UU's Helping People and some volunteers from the Friday night picnic will do a simplified version of our traditional Stone Soup Sunday. Reggie and Karen have prepared soup, which we will serve in to-go cups packed in brown paper bags, much like the Friday night experience. Also, the safety team has reopened the sanctuary for in-person worship beginning November 28th. Today will be our final front lawn live worship viewing. The sanctuary will be open at a reduced capacity, and we will strongly urge the continued use of masks and social distancing. Please be sure to check our newsletter, the UU St. Pete Weekly, for announcements of the many things happening at our church.
To keep our congregation thriving, may we remember our connection to one another, and let us not forget our contributions to support the means to those connections. If you're watching today on a mobile device or your computer, please hover your finger or cursor in the upper right corner of your screen and click on the I in the small white circle for a secure way to give. The link is also the description box below. You can also donate through the Vanco Faith Engagement mobile app or our website under the Giving tab at uustpete.org, or by sending a check to the church office. Many thanks.
As you have seen, UU's Helping People is engaged and passionate about its work with our less fortunate neighbors. My personal experiences with the picnic has deepened my own understanding of people experiencing homelessness. There's always a lesson to be learned in the playground. I will share with you some words from Reverend Scott Taylor. Remember that we do not walk alone. May we remember that we never walk out into the world alone. We stand on the shoulders of brave and generous ones who have gone before. We walk beside companions, ready to catch us when we fall. We hold memories of dear ones in our hearts who help keep us connected to our center. May we make this our most important work, to remember that who we are does not end at the edges of our own skin. If you'd like to support UU's Helping People ministry, contact me or Jerry or the office for more contact information. For those who are present today, please take with you some stone soup to go, a tradition in its 20th year. Thank you.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Sing a little louder. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Oh, now you can join the choir. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. One last time now, everybody. One love, yes, even you. One heart, let's get together and feel home.